Nigga, it's Christmas. It's Christmas outside. It's really Christmas. I went outside. I look. I built I got a snowman. Right. I named him Jeezy.
You did not do this.
Okay. No. Let me finish. Let me land. Let me land.
Go ahead.
All right. I got a snowball. I threw it at some kid's head. It's a great day. It's a winter wonderland. I want to go ice skating. It's amazing.
We live in Alaska.
Okay, I understand.
No, I'm messing with you. I'm surprised that the snow stuck. Like this is like real snow. Like in all our years of being down here, like since we moved back, even when it has snowed, it ain't been. This is real snow. This is real.
I saw really Santa Claus
in Houston in February on Valentine's Day.
Black History Month.
Black History Month.
We got white snow. What's wrong with that?
Yeah.
What is wrong with that? Wow. After we watched Judas and the Black Messiah.
Wow, that was a good film.
That was a good film.
That was a super good film.
I watched it twice. It was pretty decent.
I'm hoping people go look up a lot of the background information because you, as usual, you cannot encompass everything in a film. You just can't do it. But it was good. I thought it was well done. Like, there's only so much you're going to be able to get out, and I'm surprised that they were able to get out that much information about Fred Hampton.
So
that was huge.
Fred Hampton, who led the Black Panther Party. So we went from white snow to Black Panthers to black and ugly as ever. However, I stay Houston down to my socks. It's In My Humble Opinion podcast, and I am Avery Like a Very Nice Guy. Ding! Avery Like a Very Nice Guy. Also known as Avery Zadius. Why Zadius? Because you can call me Zaddy for short. Also, I'm here with my brother, one of the greatest writers I've ever met in my humble opinion. Pun intended.
Also the only writer you've ever met. But
no, I've met other writers. I know Fallon. I know Fallon.
So you're saying I'm better than Fallon?
I love Fallon. My brother, Just Devon.
I just want you on record saying that I'm a better writer than Fallon. That way she can beat you up.
I love Fallon.
I'm not a better writer.
I love Fallon. Just Devon, ladies and gentlemen. You can find Just Devon on Twitter at Just Devon and all other socials as Dr. Douglin. I forgot to mention, you could find me, Avery Zadius, on everything. And you could find us at My Humble O on all socials. And the greatest thing ever, we're on YouTube, which I love to look at myself. I love it. We're on YouTube, and you can watch us on YouTube. Like, comment, share, and subscribe if you want to be a part of the Humble Hive. Let's be happy. Okay, so one of the greatest things about today is, yes, we had a winter wonderland, but we have a guest with us today. All her exes live in Texas, and she's moving out of state. She's not. She's here. A woman that's happy she can pay her bills, even some of her mamas, too. I love that video. But enough of the same old shit. I love SOS. That was clever. A fun-loving chick who had the best Bob Ross costume last Halloween. Kind of funny. Look at her Instagram. She's a singer, songwriter, performer, composer with a Chris Rockaway and Chris Davis produced EP called Cry Baby in your phone right now. Roc Nation's own Tia Gold, ladies and gentlemen.
Hi. That intro, I should have been. This is recorded, right? Because I'm just gonna like play that in the morning when I wake up or something. Like that was just. I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready for the research. I wasn't ready for the lyric quote.
Oh, yes, of course.
Texas live in Texas. I loved that. I love that.
I was gonna quote Gold, but AU was too easy. But I love that you put. I was listening to it, and you was like AU, and
did you catch that,
bruh? Immediately.
It's so funny, the AU Gold thing. Like people always catch it sometimes after the fact. Like they're like, I didn't want to perform, and I'm like, I said, hey, y'all say you, and then at the end, there's always somebody that's like, wait a minute, like gold, the periodic table, gold.
Hey,
like,
you.
Yeah.
That is the symbol for. That is because some of our listeners, we know y'all don't know. That's the symbol for gold.
That is a symbol for gold.
Oh, the periodic table.
And you like Whataburger, so you're my friend for life.
I mean, you can't really be from Houston and not like Whataburger. I feel like that. I mean, I know there are some people, but I don't to not like claim them after they say that. Oh, I don't like Whataburger. I'm like, oh, you're not really from here. Like, there's a
weird subsection of people that are here that are now starting to be like, oh, In-N-Out. And I don't know where they come from and what. Oh, wait, what you about to say? What you about to say?
Now, hear me out. Okay, hear me out. I have tried In-N-Out like when I've been in LA, and I don't hate it. I like it, actually. I like it because the bun, like I'm not a big meat eater, and I want a burger like once every month or so. And so the burgers are like tiny and cute, like Krabby Patties from like SpongeBob, and they like toast the bun, and so it's good. Now, is it better than Whataburger? No, because we have just so many options at Whataburger. All In-N-Out does, all they do is stack the burger, right? Like that's all. Yeah. Like it just get bigger. Is that it?
Pretty Big Mac.
Yeah, no, but it is good. So I do like it. I'm not like one of those like In-N-Out, but it's not Whataburger.
It felt real regional when I went. Like I went to when I had In-N-Out, it felt like the first time you walk into a White Castle and you're like, oh, this is y'all's thing. That's cool. Like,
okay,
it's cool though. It's cool. Yeah. I'm not gonna, and I will say this: I think In-N-Out is better than White Castle.
I've never tried White Castle.
The only one I've had is it. Oh wait, no, that was Crystals in New Orleans.
Arby's is better than White Castle.
Arby's?
I know.
Sorry.
Everybody got quiet. Arby's.
White Castle's is big trash.
Who's keeping Arby's open?
You know what? I'm about to say I can't judge because again, I've never gone to an Arby's.
You've never had Arby's? I've had it.
He's had it.
And it's not bad.
When did we have
Arby's? Brother? We've had it.
When did we have Arby's?
I don't know. Maybe in like '94. Like I don't know.
Was it open?
A long time ago. Yeah. It wasn't memorable. It wasn't memorable. I'm not gonna knock it. Well, I am gonna knock it because we knock it like pretty much every other week on this podcast.
Yeah.
But one of these days we're gonna try Arby's because who knows? Apparently Arby's has a ridiculous amount of money.
Arby's. Somebody is keeping it open. My mom used to buy Arby's at random, and I think they have like curly fries or something. That's not bad. They're good. They're good. So you know,
you are the
Arby's. I love you, and if you want to sponsor me,
he's like, don't count me out.
Hey, look, she is the third guest to bring up Arby's fries, which I don't know how I feel about that. If I'm selling something and you keep bringing up my sides, I don't know how
Oh,
I got a whole sandwich here, but you're like the fries.
And you worried about
McDonald's though.
Top tier fries.
Like McDonald's fries, but people know
number one fries.
Top fry.
People love McDonald's fries.
Number
one. People know the Big Mac, the Quarter Pounder. What's your favorite thing at McDonald's?
The fries, nigga. All that
the fries. I cut McDonald's out for like 2-3 years, but then I broke that just for some fries one day. Like it was pulling on my heart. I was like, yo, I'm going. I'm gonna do it just for the fries. So like the fries is the thing. Nobody has gotten it right. Whataburger's hit and miss with it. Burger King fries taste like styrofoam. Can I say that on here? Y'all know anybody? The fries is fine.
Yeah.
It just tastes like styrofoam is what I was gonna say. It tastes like styrofoam.
You can say anything on here. It's good. We're not on a network.
Burgers taste trash. They only got the Whopper. They got one burger and they remix it. It's the Black Whopper. It's the Angry Whopper. It's the Valentine's Day Whopper. It's the Black History Whopper. Man, fuck y'all Whopper. Take that shit off the menu. Do something else.
The Whopper is carrying a lot for Burger King because now they're doing that. 10 pieces of chicken for $1? I'm not eating that horse meat.
That don't sound safe. Yeah, that don't really sound safe.
It can't
they just say they say nuggets. There is not chicken in the title. They never said it was chicken. Did y'all ever notice that?
And that's how they get you.
I haven't noticed
Burger King nuggets.
I don't know. This could be the beginning of a rumor. And I like this. I hope we can trace this back and they'd be like,
I'm not gonna lie.
Actually did say chicken nuggets, but Avery Douglas started this rumor. I hope you wind up on
started the rumor that there was no chicken.
I hope you either wind up on
it's gonna pass.
Or I hope you wind up on 2020 as the guy that broke this whole thing open. Because there could be somebody at Burger King right now like, they caught us.
You can book me. I'll book your
God dang
shows.
it.
And Arby's,
Okay,
I'm still here for a bag. Here.
We have run into the trap of talking about fast food way too much with our guests because it's a controversial topic. But we need to talk to our guest about our guest, Tia Gold. All right.
Hi.
Why Gold? Why you choose the last name Gold?
Why Gold? Okay, so gold is one of those things, and this is where I like to get all extra. No, but gold is one of those things that when you think of it, it's thought of positively and highly, like going for the gold or like gold medals is one of those things. And gold itself is considered timeless, and the worth never decreases; it always increases over time, like the value. And that's how I would like my art to be, always to be timeless and increase in value over art. And also, and it was a song I wrote when I was like a teenager, and I remember one line of it was saying like you had it was talking about love, but it was like you had gold, and then I was like, God dang it, this is it, that's me. And then fast forward to years later, about 2 years ago, I met an older man that lived in my apartment, and he would always, anytime we crossed paths, he was just like an older man who liked to just give you random information. And he's like, Tia. And I was like, yes. And he was like, it's your name comes from the goddess, the Greek goddess Thea, which is why in Spanish it's pronounced that way. It's spelled Thea in Greek. And he was like, Thea was in charge of making things shiny, and she was the creator of all things like gold and shimmer and anything that shined. And he didn't know. This old man had no idea I did music. I never told him. And I was like, all this time, I've been Tia Gold the whole time. And so I thought that was really cool. So now it's tied into all this different stuff, but the original reason of why I chose that name is because of what I mentioned about the value thing. And yeah.
That's awesome though. But that old man though, the old man.
Dropping jewels.
Did he try to holler?
No. Okay. Very sweet old man.
All right.
Him and his wife were very kind.
Okay. You know how old niggas do.
But he was like he and his wife might be huge Tia Gold fans. They might have had the EP on deck. Like I was like,
I didn't even. Right. I should have. I sometimes I used to be really, really quiet about like doing music. It was almost like a Hannah Montana thing. It's like when my wig is off during the day, I'm not Tia Gold. Like I'm just like, oh hi, I'm Tia. I was a leasing agent. I lease apartments. What you need, And so when people would find my music, they're like, this is you. Like, yeah.
They're coming to pay rent and doing that.
Mm-hmm. Where'd you get that? Who showed you that? So yeah, it's funny. But no, he yeah, that was it. Where am I going with this? I'm rambling. I'm a rambler. Just a heads up.
This is a rambling podcast. We started this podcast talking about McDonald's, Burger King, and Arby's. Like we talking about everything. So
you're right.
You did not want people to know that you sang in the beginning?
Isn't it odd? Isn't that weird? I mean, for a long time while I did music, like when it would come to like my day job or just to like anything like that, I would not mention it. And like my mom and my siblings, especially my mom, we would be in the grocery store and she'll be like checking out and she's like, this my daughter, look up Tia Gold. What do you have on your phone? YouTube? And I'm like, Mom, please stop. She's like, you gotta advertise for yourself. And so and she's not wrong. She's not wrong. She was never wrong. But like it was just one of those things that I would try and keep separate from like regular like work life or whatever. But I'm actually like really shy, which is I don't know. It's one of those things.
I can't tell.
I was about to say
that
doesn't come across.
I know. I know. People.
Oh, that was a random. Sorry, audience. We have a little. We are recording on the day of the snowstorm.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of a disconnect with the Wi-Fi or whatnot because I don't know, ERGOT, whatever that new company we just found out about today that Sylvester Turner put all the blame on. Like, makes it just interesting. Like today, that man got up on the news and went, "Leo, it's not my fault. It's them."
Don't do.
I thought it was Centerpoint's fault. It's not their fault either.
Make fun of
it's not them. Is that Sylvester?
I'm definitely making fun of Sylvester. I'm definitely making fun of Sylvester. Although Sylvester also know, just like Arby's, just like Burger King, we are fake. So if you want us to vouch for you, Sylvester, just call us. Like I'll be like,
we'll still come through, right? We still got you. We're gonna talk about the company you made up.
I'll get up right there and I'll be like, turn all your heat off. Sylvester said so.
Yeah.
Like that's just what it is. So going back, like you talked about keeping, like this Hannah Montana, keeping your singing abilities a secret. The only person that knew was your mom. At what age are you singing? Like, at what age are you like, yo, I just want to sing?
No, not the only person that knew was my mom. This is so music and wanting to do music and wanting to entertain in general has always been like my thing since I was like a kid, right? So when I was probably about 8 or 9, that's when I told everybody, was like, oh, I'm gonna be a dance choreographer. Okay, this is it. And then it went from dance choreographer to like comedian, and I was real solid on the comedian tip. Like I was like, yo, I am funny. This is what I'm going with, like, ready, And my grandma was like, baby, they don't make a lot of money. You don't want to do that. So like at 10, I was like, well, shit, that was my plan. Now what? No, but I had always been very, very into music, but it was always my thing. Like singing and even writing little songs like 10, 11, 12, I was still very, very, very like secretive about it. It was something I did in my room on my own cassette tapes to record writing my songs to myself. And then, so my family found out probably within the year of me being 11 or 12. Now deciding that I wanted to pursue music was something that I decided probably around the age of 17, but actually started like recording and performing like 19, 20. But that whole keeping it a secret thing, that Hannah Montana thing, this is well into Tia Gold. Like this is like this is Texas, this is Sorry Love, this is all that. It was still very, that's what people don't even know, like, unless you're like in my day-to-day life, I was still very about it. And if I wasn't in the space of other creators or in a space where I needed to be Tia Gold, then I wasn't gonna say a lot about, like, I slowly had to break out of that, like, yo, and had to tell myself, like, yo, Tia, because I'm not fond of talking about myself. I think that's what made it so hard, or it wasn't easy to talk about myself. So it was like, you got to do it. It's not bragging. It's not forcing it down people's throat, but it kind of is forcing it down people's throat. But sometimes they need to know, because if you don't say it,
it, they ain't
gonna know. They ain't gonna know. So it was a process.
Now, why do you think you were kind of shy or necessarily keeping that part of you guarded?
I just, like I said, I never wanted to seem like I was forced. I was one of those people that was like, hey, listen to my mixtape. Like, I never wanted to like
that's a deep voice though.
Make people like listen to it. Why I gotta be like right here? Because that's what I feel like. Anytime that I'm like, hey, you checked out my Crybaby mixtape, I got new stuff. No, but I never wanted to feel like I was, the register, the low. I'm a tenor low key. But I never wanted to seem like I was forcing down people's throat, and I never wanted me to be like to talk myself up, and then they absolutely hate it and be like, "This is what you wanted me to go here." Yeah. And I'm like, well, I thought it was pretty good, Yeah, so a lot of internal stuff, I think, was really one of those things that kept me guarded about it. And I had to realize that, like, yo, you've made it pretty far. Like, you've progressed each time. Like, it's never, so you can't be doing something, you can't be horrible. So, yeah.
You're such a.
Did I answer?
No, I think it's funny because all your answers go in this ebb and flow where it's like a wave of stuff and then you just stop. You're like, yeah.
See, because too much. Man. I never want to like do too much. I could tell me, all right, Tia, we're moving on.
You're doing perfect, okay. Girl. You're doing perfect.
Okay. You're good. You're good. So, and then you said, hey, you're progressing. You're moving forward. What made you start noticing, like, hey, like,
I'm not doing that bad. Yeah. Okay, so whenever I would go perform, right, that was one thing I've always knew what my strengths were. if that makes sense. So like when I would perform, I would always have like great feedback or a couple of new followers or people just run up and be like, you know, you were doing exactly what you're supposed to do. I love those people. Or when I would, well, there's that. And then I think maybe probably after I put out Sorry Love, possibly, is when it was like really just kind of one of those things. I mean, I had been recording music. I had went through a process where I was working with someone and recorded like a whole project, and then that ended up kind of like falling through and I had to start all over. So then came Sorry Love, and when I put out Sorry Love, it was just me being, you know, excited to release something and something that meant a lot to me. And then the Crybaby project, it was just me being excited, saying like, I finished something. I said I was gonna do it and I finished it, and then me just putting it out, right? So then I started getting just a bigger response from it just over time. And I really didn't even promote it until like a year later. And it was just people that would find me just from online, just randomly, hey, I found your music, like high schoolers or whoever, and be like, I love this song, and Sorry Love, oh my God, I played it all day. Like I cried to this, like you understand me. And I'm like, oh, y'all like it. That's so cool. So yeah, I think it was around the time like Sorry Love, Crybaby is when I was really solid and like, yeah, okay. Because before that, I knew that I was good at what I was doing, but I just wasn't necessarily, I don't know if I wasn't sure if I was just like maybe scared. One time somebody told me, it was like, why are you so scared of being great? And now that I look back, it was like, oh, I really was. Oh, wow. They weren't wrong.
So, I mean,
yeah.
and leaning into that, like that whole scared of being great thing, like why do you think you were?
I think betting on yourself is scary. You know, it's scary. Now, any day, anytime, I bet on me before anything. But at the time, it was just like, you know, going all the way out on a limb, and I'm one of those people who has to know what's going to happen tomorrow, and I have to know what's going to happen next week, and I have to know what's going to happen next month. And you don't get that when you know, that's not what you get when you doing music at all. You don't know. You just don't know. And I think that it was one of those like fear of the unknown. This is getting deep. Oh shit. Oh Lord. I'm disconnected. No.
We try to get a little deep.
Do you still have that fear though of the unknown?
Oh yeah. I'm a lot better at dealing with it. I do things scared. I do. I'm one of those people, you know how that meme likes to get passed around? Do it scared. Do it anyway. Yeah.
Oh God.
I have to, because this is like, oh well, the worst that can happen is either it doesn't go how you plan and you just learn, you know, or somebody says no, which now no don't, you know, that don't really faze me. But yeah, I do still have a big fear of the unknown, but really more so not with music or creating. My fear of the unknown really now lies, we're gonna get real dark, really lies with death at this point. But I don't know, it's like you just don't know when you're gonna die.
Hey, no. This I told you this is a rambling podcast. Let's go down this path.
I don't like it.
Don't
go down there, it's gonna get dark. I'm telling you, don't ask no more questions. Let's talk about Arby's.
Actually,
Arby's is the safe word.
Arby's is our safe word. Yeah,
Arby's. Okay, so Arby's will be our safe word. So let's not go down. Thinking about death. Let's think about beginnings, birth, new career. You opened up for Meg Thee Stallion, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you opened up for Meg Thee Stallion and Doja Cat. I was actually at that concert. This would be the point now where I would lie to you and say I got there early enough, but I was late. Like I barely thought.
You ain't even see me. I thought we was about to have a full circle moment.
I thought we were.
You wasn't even there.
But I didn't want to be like, yo, I saw you, and you was like, yeah, you saw when I released the Doves, and I was like,
I went to the bathroom. I was in the restroom.
First of all, I mean, the concert hall that it was at was huge. When you talk about like performing at Fear, what was that the biggest place that you had performed at that point?
Yeah, because that was like 4,000 or something people that ended up being at that show. Before then, the bigger thing, I had did the national anthem at like a Dynamo Dash game, the soccer team here. But that was the biggest like show concert where I had performed my music. And that was crazy. And that was really great. And it's to even think about like after that moment, it was like, oh snap, like I did it. But I've always, it's been easier over like all of my life for me to do stuff in front of bigger crowds than it is for me to do in smaller intimate settings, because I think in bigger crowds you don't see people, you can't see them seeing you. Honestly, I wear glasses, I can't even see y'all, but I can see y'all playing. But yeah, no, and in smaller stuff like intimate settings, you can see people directly looking at you and just being like, yeah, what do you have? What you got? Let me see. So those settings are the ones I'm most comfortable with. But it was 4,000 people, and I think, and that was just great. That's like I was just proud to put that on my little resume, Yeah.
Now
that's it.
I'm sorry.
I need to find a new closing word.
I love the way you end answers to questions. Yeah. Like it's like you're pressing a buzzer. Like
yeah. I think that's a good ending spot. Period.
But okay, so let's back up then. I mean, how does that? You're opening up, and this was through 97.9. Like, how do you become an opener for a show of that magnitude?
So that was a separate situation from how you would normally do it, because before it was on my list, right? It was on, I make these little lists. I don't like to call them New Year resolutions, but I do make goal lists, and I have short-term goals and I have long-term goals. And one of my goals for that year was to start doing opening gigs for people, right? And so I'm just like emailing my EPK out to just local venues like White Oak and Warehouse Live, and and so I got a couple of random opening gigs from those places and from doing that. So if any artist is listening, I only gave that information for that. If any artist is listening, once the world gets back to normal and they are having concerts, you just send your EPK out to different, the booking people at the local venues, and if they're interested, they will contact you. So that's just, there's that tactic.
That's good.
But
that's good information.
Yeah, good. But that particular situation, they were doing a contest where they have like this thing called On the Radar. You would submit your music for ratings from listeners, and the listeners of 97 on the Box will go through all of these different songs and they'll rate it, because I think they win something if they rate a certain amount of songs too. And I submitted Sorry Love, just thinking like, hey, why not? One of those you don't win if you don't play type situations. And I remember the winner for that contest, that was the prize. Like if you have the lead song by the end of, I think it was November or October, then you get to open up for that concert. So I submitted my song, not thinking about it. And one night it was like I'm asleep, or I wasn't asleep, and I'm scrolling, and I get like a little Facebook notification. It was like, hey, your song's still in the lead. And I was like, my song's still in the lead. So I went and looked on a little scoreboard, and Sorry Love had been sitting in the lead on the scoreboard for like weeks. And I had no idea, because I hadn't been checking like my Facebook or nothing like that. And then I remembered what the prize was, and I looked at the date, and it was like October 29th. And I was like, well, this is the end of the month, ain't it? And so it was like, okay. So I had to sit up and was like, oh shit, like, okay, so I'll just watch it and be quiet about it for a couple of days and just keep watching it. But I sent it to my mama, and I sent it to my sisters, and I was like, hey, y'all, just go look at this, and this is what I'm praying on, and this is what I'm looking at right now, just to let y'all know if I seem like I'm not there because I'm distracted, so next thing you know, the end of the month came. It was just a couple of days later, and I was still in the lead. And yeah, and then Kiati was like, it's you. And I was like, well, I guess it's me then. Here we are. And so that's how that came about. That's really how that came about.
This is me then.
No. This is a lot.
Yeah.
Competitions, that's usually like you put your song up and then you tell all of your friends like, yo, go vote for me. Like, go vote.
Mm-hmm. What's so cool about this one? Yeah, no, what's so cool about this is you can only send a link to, I think, 2 people for them to vote for you. Outside of that, It's all just people who do not know you. Like literally doing it. And I thought that was so cool because these are legit people. These ain't just me like, you know, gathering up people. These are people who heard my song and was like, oh, I like this. So I ended up getting like, you know, new fans, new followers, new listeners through that also, through just the select before even winning, you know? So yeah, it was no gathering people. It was no, hey, y'all click this, go vote. None of that. It was just people that, that liked it.
No, that's dope.
I'm not gonna say yeah.
Do it.
I didn't say it.
You gotta get a little rubber band and snap it. I'm supposed to do that.
I say it.
Absolutely. I say absolutely all the time for no reason.
I talk about
really.
Yeah, he absolutely does say.
Say absolutely.
He absolutely does say absolutely. Yeah, that is mine. I hear it now.
For the few people that listen to this podcast, you can go back and make a drinking game out of it, and you'll get drunk because I say absolutely a lot. Like
you'll get drunk by the middle of it.
A lot.
That's funny.
But okay, so did Roc Nation come before or after the 97.9 thing?
Roc Nation came afterwards. All of these events just weren't connected to the other. And that's what I think is so funny about all of it. But it's all kind of sort of full circle. And it all just, and I will say, I like to say fell in my lap. All of it fell in my lap. But, you know, it was the Lord. Appreciate you, big ups, you know. But, but yeah, it's, no, it came afterwards. About how many months? Probably about 4 or 5 months afterwards.
Is it in the same manner where you just sitting at home and you get a Facebook message and it's like, hey?
An Instagram message.
Oh, okay.
Wrong app. No,
but here's the funny thing. I was joking. I just assumed they was going to send an email. They sent you a message. No, so how it happened, no, I just mean the opportunity, like, to even be in the space or be considered came from a DM. So I was, it was Martin Luther King Day, and I was thrift shopping. And I don't know if y'all know, Donnie Houston, actually, is another, he has a podcast here also, a producer here in Houston. Yeah. Oh, Donnie was on here, wasn't he? Yep. Been on the show
yes.
A couple of times. Donnie's great.
Yeah. I like to tell people, I'm like, Donnie low-key the plug. I don't think he knew he was the plug at the time. But he had posted on his Instagram, like, yo, you know, any writers, keep a lookout. And so I messaged and I'm like, what's up? Now, me and Donnie at the time had only had each other on Instagram probably for like a couple of weeks and probably had made jokes about different memes that one another posted, but that was to the extent of that you know, that relationship. And when he posted that, I was just like, hey, you know, I'm a writer. And he was like, oh, well, there's a camp. There's going to be a camp out here from today till Thursday. For a major R&B artist, you know, and I was like, okay. At the time, I hadn't been to a writer's camp, and so I'm always just, my thing is always like building your network and experience, you know. So again, do it scared. So I'm like, I don't even know how this is gonna operate, but I'm gonna go because whatever. So I messaged him and I was like, okay, well, who can I send my stuff to, you know, like to get information on? And he was like, oh, I heard your music. You're good. I'll let you know the address when I get it. I was like, okay, cool. And so I was like, that was nice of you. But so he sent it to me and I went, and it was just kind of like, it was at the studio and there was people everywhere. And then they told me who the artist was. And once they told me who the artist was, I went to the restroom and I gave myself a pep talk. And I was like, yo, you know, you've been writing music for a while. You're going to write anything. You better write your ass off this week. This might be the week that you should, you know.
Can you
all that scare shit.
Who was it though?
Huh? No, I can't say.
Okay. You can't say the artist, but okay.
You can't say it was Beyonce?
I can't say.
Can't say that?
That's so funny. I wish you gotta plug. You got a Beyonce plug.
If it was Beyonce,
holler at.
I'm about to say, and if it was
444,
we revealed it, Beyonce would shut this podcast down. Don't do that.
I think the electricity would turn off. Y'all have our power. Don't push it.
Beyonce,
you know,
if
it was,
man, don't.
The minute she heard it, she'll be like, "Yo, all our power just gonna go off. Computer screen."
I never said that. No, that's not what happened. You wrote 444.
No, I really wish.
Yeah.
I wrote 444. Hell yeah. No, I wish it was Beyonce though. That's on my list. That's like a.
So you pep talk yourself in the bathroom. You're like,
I pep talked myself in the restroom. I was like, all that scared shit that you be playing with, you gotta put it in your back pocket. And I called my sisters and I was like, hey, I'm at this camp. So for the next 4 days, I don't know how long it's gonna go because I'm a mom. And so I was like, I need one of y'all to come stay at my place with me to help me out with my daughter in the morning for school, just in case, studio sessions go late and stuff like that. And they were like, okay, cool. Yeah, whatever. So that worked out. And by like day, there was a Roc Nation A&R there, Daniel Smith actually, and by day 3 or 4, he had me cut like one last thing and was like, "Yo, do something kind of like a freestyle on it, like just like just flow." And I was like, "Okay, cool," and I did that. And by the end of that night, it was the 4th night. By the end of that night, he like pulled me to the side and was like, yo, we've been watching you the whole time. Like you go in a room and you get along with everybody and you're a bit of a hit maker. Like, I don't know if you know, but I'm really interested and we would like to like hand you like a management deal. And I was like, well, okay. And so like I said, I make lists, I make lists of things that I'm looking for or looking to do and goals. And man, what was so funny is like finding a manager was at the top of my list for that year, which was what, 2020? That's the beginning of 2020. Yeah. And so when he brought that up, he was like, if you're ready, like we can try and get you like an agreement together and figure that out, but you just, take that time to think about it. The next day, I get a phone call from him and he had made it back to LA and was like, hey, I played that last, that freestyle that you cut. I played it for Big Bro, for Jay-Z, and he actually want to cut you like a publishing deal. And I was like, huh? And I was at work. I had like a tour. Like I said, I was a leasing agent. I had a tour sitting at my desk and I was like, hey, can I call you back? I'm about to tour. He's like, no, I don't think you're listening. Like you probably want to kind of go home and pack because they also want you to go ahead and come out to the Roc Nation brunch. So if you want to do that, just let me know. Maybe you want to leave work right now to just kind of figure this stuff out. And I was like, no, really, I gotta call you back. So I ran to my manager's office, and at this time, so my manager had been as a leasing agent. My leasing agent manager had been very supportive of my music. She was one of those people that found out on her own, though. She was one of those people that when she found out I did music and was like, "This is you." Like she on my Instagram or something. So she had always been super supportive. And so when I told her that, she was like, "Go home, go call who you gotta call, go figure it out." And so I went out to LA that weekend, went to the Roc Nation brunch, ended up like running into Megan, which was cool. That was the full circle moment. Like that was the little weird moment where it was just like, what? I mean, it was just like people passing by.
You went to the brunch?
I went to the brunch.
Oh my goodness.
I went to the brunch. Like it was just like so weird.
I gotta ask a question though, because Deez and Samara always talk about that because they've never been to the brunch. Was there food at the brunch?
There is food at the brunch. There's multiple types of food, a lot of Douce, and they do it a lot of different ways. They got all these little different Douce drinks. It's cute. But there was food. There's food at the brunch. And alcohol, and Chance the Rapper skipped me in line at the bar.
Well, wait. At the bar?
I think he was getting water, or I was getting water. I don't know what he was getting, but like I remember him stepping in front of me, and I was just he skipped. No, he apologized. He apologized because I guess he didn't realize, and I was like, hey. And he was like, oh, I'm so sorry. And he was like, what are you trying to get? And I was like, just some water. And he was like, can I get her water? But yeah, it was so weird. It was the weirdest week, I think, of my life. It was just like, bam, 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 bam. So yeah, after the brunch, probably about 2 weeks. 2 weeks after that, I had my attorney go over like the contracts and stuff like that. And then I signed as a writer, and about a month later signed as the management deal. So it was one of those,
All I got from that story, and you're supposed to stop saying but we're gonna work on that.
Absolutely. I mean, absolutely. That's what I meant to say. Absolutely.
All I got from that story is somebody called you and said, yo, I played your music for Jay-Z.
That's the part. That's the part, right?
He likes your stuff. We want to get with you. You need to come out here. And you went, hold just a second. I gotta show this apartment.
Because look, listen, this is just my thought, right? Like, if this don't pan out, I still need to pay my rent. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't just be like, hey, but then at that point, like, they was telling me what they wanted, and I was like sitting at my desk like this. And so washer and dryer, and I'm like, I ain't hear shit they was saying. I ain't hear nothing they was saying. We got 2 bedrooms. Could you wait? Like, it's today. You really want to find an apartment, please?
They gave a whole.
There was probably.
Did they get?
There's probably like that leasing agent is shit.
I was about to say, did they get a place?
You guys should fire her. I think they ended up leasing. They leased.
Got your commission.
They really needed to. No, my manager took over. I left early. I left early.
It was $100.
Good. I left early for a good cause, for a good purpose.
You didn't get the commission, but you got a Roc Nation brunch with Meg Thee Stallion.
Yeah.
The rapper.
It was a lot of people. I love Janae Aiko. I got to meet her that day. It was just like, but yeah, that was like right before 2020 closed down too. So it was like I had a little glimpse of like great, and then it was like
the last Roc Nation brunch.
The last Roc Nation brunch.
Wow.
Yeah. Feels like a dream now. Yeah.
This is just the beginning. Like now you have you are managed. You have a management deal with them, correct?
Management and publishing.
Okay, so you have a management and publishing deal with them. So like, what are the plans that you can tell us? Like, what are we planning on doing like now in the future? We got albums. We got like, are you share anything? Because I know they're secretive over there.
Exactly. So look, it's one of those things where it's just like, dang it, and stuff just like screams out of your like pores, and you just be like, I want to say, oh yeah, I met them. So no, on the writer tip, I can't really say too much. But I did. I mean, I did. I ended up writing a lot last year, and most of the time, so I can write songs, right? Or like I've always written songs like because I wanted to do music and I needed songs to do that. You can't do music without writing songs, right? And then later on, you realize, oh wait a minute, this is kind of a gift. Like I'm good at it. Okay, so I'm a songwriter. That's cool. And so, but I would always just write music because I needed music. So now being in the space of like being a songwriter and just like writing music for a multitude of reasons outside of like me creating a project or something like that, it was like I just got a chance to go so many different ways with it, and it's not just Tia Gold. And I could say all kinds of stuff. There's some stuff in my music that I probably wouldn't say that I'll say, and just like that I can say in music that's not for me. And so I got to kind of take on all these different emotions and take on these different concepts and songs that I can't do as myself. Or not that I can do, because technically I can do what I want, but that aren't really a part of my own personal, like brand or whatever. But yeah, as far as plans, like I said, I can't say much about the writing, and that's the weird part. But I did decide while like in quarantine that since there was so much, space and time, that of course I wasn't gonna stop on my own music. And that was another thing that a lot of producers that I met, I got to meet a lot of new producers, and they were like, yo, like, make sure you remember yourself and you do your thing and don't sit yourself to the side, because I can tell you're an artist, or I can tell, like blah, blah. So Chris Rockaway, who was like my longtime producer, just my homie, he was like, let's work on your project like during now, like the world is shut down, like do it now. And I was like, okay, well, sure. So I'm definitely working on releasing my own. As far as stuff that I've written or co-written, hopefully you guys can start seeing some of that sooner than later, but I don't have any dates on any of that. So
hopefully it will happen. It'll happen. Absolutely.
It will, because it's on absolutely. Yeah. It will. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
It will. It's on my list. And so far anything on my list has like, so it has to at this point. That's the rule.
It's on my list for us.
Yeah. You said you want an Arby's deal.
Can I get my hair back? Like,
You don't need that. That's one of the best parts about being a man. I tell people that all the time. Y'all don't have to. Like, you can do that. You ain't got to. If I go bald tomorrow, people will be like, "Are you okay? That death thing is really getting to you, huh?" Yeah.
You talk about not wanting to forget about, like, don't forget about yourself as an artist, and you're still putting out stuff, and getting with Chris Rockaway to finish working on the project. Let's talk about Answer. I'm sorry. I'm just like, that's the name of it.
Just came out.
You about to have me checking my notes. God,
wait a minute.
Like, I was I didn't just say the wrong song. Like, it
dropped on Valentine's Day.
You're right. It did drop on Valentine's Day. How was y'all's Valentine's Day? Did y'all have a good Valentine's Day?
Man, it was cold.
Like,
it was cold.
It was cold.
Avery's like, they call me Zaddy. I love it. No, but yeah, Answer dropped on Valentine's Day. Answer. I have a disco song. It's called Answer. How'd you feel about it? Here goes that time where
you asked us. I said I liked it. The interesting thing about it is, like you said, it's a disco song.
Mm-hmm.
Why disco?
So when me and Rockaway create, this is why I like working with him, and a lot of producers can do this, but like me and him flow so well when I do this, it doesn't annoy him yet, so I keep doing it. I write I save a lot of voice notes, concepts, and I write kind of in the form of melody. So like some people will have just words sit inside, some people will have just melodies, can just hum like a melody and have that sit into the side. Mine is normally, there's already a melody, there's already a concept, there's already, there's a line and I'm singing it. And so I'll have a bunch of those voice notes. And whenever we do get together, he's always like, empty the vault, just like, tell me what you got, just let me hear what you got, play what you got, sing what you got, like, come on, give it to me. So Answer was actually a voice note that I've had since like working on the Crybaby EP, but I just never really revisited the idea. So in one of those moments of like emptying the vault, all I had was the I'm the life of the party till the lights go out, that whole little part. And then I think probably all the way into the hook, all this is just an acapella voice note. And I knew how I heard it in my head. And so when the voice note was over, he was like, so it's a disco song. I was like, you hear it too? It was like, yeah, no, definitely, that's a disco song. And I was like, oh, so great. And he's like, yeah, let's do it. So that's how that came about. And it just so happened, I had that one kind of in my back pocket around the same time as Texas. I recorded that in Texas on the same day. Yeah, and they were both so different from anything I had done before. So we were excited to do those, but I just kept it in my pocket. And then it was like, okay, once the writer's deal came along, and it was like, okay, am I going to pitch this to somebody else or am I going to keep it? Like, how's this going to go? And then disco started being very just apparent, like in pop music and top 40s music. Like you had the Say So joint, and you had, I think Miley had like a disco joint. It was just so weird. And I was like, oh, I was on the right path. And so I was like, okay, well, I mean, nobody had picked it up yet. And so I was like, I'll just keep it. Like, I'll just keep it. And it just, the timing was right. The timing was right about it. So, and it seemed too out of left field. Am I saying that right? Absolutely.
Timing was right. It wasn't too out of left field.
There.
Also, I'm not trying to get you to replace your with absolutely. Like,
too late. I already did it.
And if
mine.
You're going to do something different, the best person to do is with Rockaway. He's been on the shows too, and every artist that we have that has worked with him or him himself, he just likes to do different stuff. If anybody's open to doing different, it's him.
It's him, yeah. Like he'll do some shit like blenders and all kinds of stuff, and you're like, you maniac! How did you even think of that? But like he's he's really good. I tell people all day long, like, who are you working with? If it's not, what are you doing?
There's a rapper named Kid the Great who's fantastic, sings and everything, but he did something with Rockaway, and Rockaway has this story he told on the podcast where he's like, we finished the song. And it was fantastic. And then he goes, yeah, I want you to put a bunch of gunshots on top of it. And he goes, why? He goes, just do it. And he goes, I kept putting gunshots on top of it. And he goes, I just kept doing it. He goes, more. And we played it for a group of people, and they were like, Doug, it's great. What's up with all them gunshots?
Gunshots!
And he was like, oh, that's Rockaway, man. I was like, he goes, I don't know why he blames it on me, but it is what it is.
He said, I don't know why he blames it on me. He'll do it.
Rockaway will do it. He'll be like, yo, y'all want to try some odds? Y'all want to do something different? Let's do it.
Let's do it. And that's what I love about him. Yeah. And he doesn't allow like whiny Tia or scary Tia. He'd be like, yo, it sounds good. Shut up and just keep going. And I'm like, are you sure? It's great. I'm like, okay.
Moving like a drive-by.
Yeah. We work well. It's a funny dynamic, actually.
Well, look, I'm glad. I don't want to press you too much. I'm glad you're able to come and tell us what you could tell us. You can't tell us about the secret tracks and all that other kind of stuff, but we are looking forward to hearing all of the music and everything that comes from you. So this was great.
Thank you. Thank you. I enjoyed it. Sorry. Now I'm gonna ask. I'm sorry. How much time we got?
It's unlimited. We can record as much as we want. Go ahead.
Okay. Oh, because you had mentioned the video.
Yeah.
So you got.
I like the video.
You mentioned the video?
Yeah.
Did you like the video? Thanks, guys. Huh?
Talk about
the video.
I
didn't hear the last thing.
Talk
about the video? Okay. The video.
I want to be in the video though. Next time, you don't need that abbed up dude. Have me in the video. A real.
Right? Where did he come from? Who wants abs and tattoos? That's so 2019. That's so 2019. No, the video. Colin is somebody else I worked with for a long time. Colin and Jumanji, and me and Colin went to high school together. And he kind of came on board with my music stuff. Like back, I have a song called Lonely Hearts, and I think that's when he started like editing my visuals. And then what? Yeah, you like that one?
Yeah.
Yay. But yeah, and so this one, when he heard the song, I remember telling him like, hey, there's this song, there's this disco song I have, and every time I pass these chandelier light stores, you know those little stores where you have like the lights hanging, they're chandelier stores, they just sell lights and they sell I'm always like, I want to do a video in a light store. I don't know why, I just like lights. And I told him that, and he was like, well, maybe something like of the sorts. And then he pulls out this idea with like the hanging Edison bulbs. And that's the great thing about working with Colin, is like I can give him such, because I'm very less is more. I can give him something very simple, and he like turns it into this whole thing. And so there was the Edison bulb set up, and that's where that came from, because I wanted to do a video in a light store, and he's like, no, this is better. And I was like, you're right. And then he's like, this is a disco song, and he's like, I want to like pay tribute, because he's also really into film, and he's like, I want to pay tribute to like 70s like cheesy film. And so then the concept of like two different Tias, because my personality is something that I also like to share with people that listen to my music. And I feel like with Crybaby, you didn't really hear it. Like you heard like the type of music I do, but you didn't hear like me as a person really. And so I want to really start using the videos and different songs to show that. So in SOS, you can kind of hear my personality. And with the video for Answer, you can see it, where you get to see like goofy Tia and then glamour Tia, you know? And so that was one of those things. He's like, we can play up on that. We can play up on goofy, kind of quirky. And then there's this fabulous girl that she imagines herself as in her head while she's like chasing this guy around. So it's just, that's where that concept came from. The 70s film thing was like his it was his, and I loved it. I just loved it because it just gave me the chance to just be silly and yeah.
Be yourself.
That's all.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and be myself. Absolutely. Yes.
I love it.
That's it. That's all.
My God, really? Just out the blue.
Oh, my
just flipped you.
You got to pay attention.
Yeah, I wasn't prepared, but I am now, because that's the thing. It was a great, in my humble opinion, podcast episode. I've been one of your hosts, Avery Like a Very Nice Guy, also known as Avery Zadius, which you could find me on all socials, and my brother, Jess Devon. Also, you can find him at Jess Devon.
Yeah, Just Devon.
Jess Devon. You can find him at Just Devon on Twitter, and Dr. Douglas on all other socials, who just wrote an amazing article on how'd I forget? But you'll find it. Just go to our pages.
Just go to my page. It's only article.
And it's about alcohol. But and you can also find us at My Humble O on everything else. In My Humble Opinion podcast, where the opinions are humbled and the words aren't jumbled. And we really want to thank our guests for coming out. Tia Gold, Roc Nation's own. You've been amazing to us.
Thank you for having me. I don't know why I got so low all of a sudden. No, thank you. I don't think I was ready, but thank y'all for having me. I had such a good time, and I loved it. And I really just realized that y'all are like actually brothers. So you know how people say brothers, and the whole time it's been in the back of my head. It's like I like brothers, but now I see Douglas, blood brothers. I love that.
Blood brothers.
I love that. Yeah. Okay, y'all need a sister. I could be Tia Gold Douglas.
Wow.
Gold.
I like your last name though.
Yeah.
Your real last name is dope.
Oh, do you think so?
Yeah.
Thank you. I think it's just one of those last names that when you run into people with it, it's like, oh no, we family. Like it's
exactly.
It ain't like it's not like Smith and nothing like that. Like who your daddy? No. Who is your daddy?
It is definitely distinctive.
That's awesome though.
Yeah.
Well, once again, man, it's been In My Humble Opinion podcast. If you want to be a part of the Humble Hive, you've got to like, share, and subscribe. Humbly yours, In My Humble Opinion podcast. H-Town's too sweet. H-Town's too sweet.
Bye. What does that mean? I always want to know that.